Hello and welcome to Dude's Comic Haul. I'm Jason and this is my weekly video where I share with you the new comics I've picked up today. I talk a little bit about them and what I'm expecting from them. So without further ado, let's get straight into the haul. A nice small haul today. It's nice. I enjoy my books. I love my books. Would gladly buy more if I could afford them, if I had the time to read them and the space to store them. Would gladly buy many more books. However, it is nice to get those occasional weeks where you have a nice small selection. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up we have The Flash, issue number 28. Been enjoying this book. One of my favourites of the New 52. I'm in that state at the moment where I don't know, is it the way the creative team wrote the book or is it the character that I like, and we're going to find that when the new creative team come on board, which it is. But this is part 2 of a 3-part Buccellato story, and last issue was really good. I enjoyed it and I'm looking forward to seeing where we go in this issue, and the fact we got some Deadman in it, always a boosty bonus. The next up we have, also from DC Comics, we have Justice League Dark, issue number 28. This continues the Blight storyline, which I've been enjoying Forever Evil. But Blight just seems like such a long story. It seems it's been going for months already, and we've still got a month to go. And I think, for me, I think the perfect length for a crossover is 8 issues. But like this seems to have had a lot more than 8 issues, and it's very tricky to have a story. You know, you can do it. You look at things like Wonder Woman. I know it's not a crossover, but that's been the same story for 28 issues. It's been the same kind of story arc for all those issues, and it's never felt like it's treading water. You look at Secret Wars, that was 12 issues, so it can be done, but it's very tricky to pull off, and I always think, you know, less is sometimes more. I'm looking forward to this book getting back to being its own separate entity, because it's been about 7 months since it's had its own separate story, what with Forever Evil and Trinity War. But I'm also looking forward to seeing how this story finishes up. What is going to be our team? Who's going to survive the whole Blight storyline? You know, so hopefully we'll get back. And also, it's the price. Like at the moment, it's $3.99. Is it going to stay $3.99, or are they going to take it back down to $2.99? It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen after the Blight. So yeah, we then jump over to Image. We have Black Science, issue number 4. Another book that I've really been enjoying. I love Rick Remender's writing. The guy is just crazy and I love it. This story, I love alternate realities as well and all those kind of stories. I remember TV shows like Quantum Leap and Sliders, and this is kind of those two shows. If those two shows had a child, this is what the child would be. It would be Black Science. And you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing where this book's going to go, and so far it's been right up my alley, so looking forward to getting some more of that. We then have Free, issue number 5. Sadly, I think this is the final issue. I haven't found a solicit for number 6, and the way last issue was written, it definitely feels like we're heading to a conclusion. It makes sense, because how long could they run from the Spartans, so it makes sense, but I am going to miss it. I was a big fan of the TV show Spartacus, and this book reminded me of Spartacus in as much of how the slaves are treated and how they're treated like they're not even human. That reminded me a lot of Spartacus, so I'm going to miss this book a lot, but I'm looking forward to seeing how things are going to finish up for our protagonists. We now jump over to Marvel Comics. We start off with Superior Spider-Man, issue number 28. Really been enjoying this book. I've got a lot of questions about how they're going to finish it all up, and last month's cliffhanger, I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to be resolved. But yeah, this has been really good, and I'm glad I stuck on board with it. You know, because the early going I was a bit unsure about it, but Dan Slott, I think, has turned things around and done a really good job. Then my final book for this week is The Uncanny Avengers, issue number 17. I get another Remender book. This book has been really good. I think a lot of people were put off because those first few issues were bad, and I think it's one of those things, if a book starts strong and then goes bad, people will stick with the book and will keep getting it, hoping it's going to get good again. But if a book starts off bad, I think it's a lot harder for a book to get those people back once they've jumped off. and I think a lot of people still think this book is a pile of steaming shite, when in actual fact they've turned it around and it's a really great book. I think from about issue 4 this book really took off and did a fantastic job, and ever since it's been a really good book. Some shocking twists and turns and some really good stories being told, and yeah, it's one of my favourite books each month, and I wish more people would give it a go, because I just think a lot of people turned off because those early issues were bad. But yeah, if you came back on board, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. So those are my books. I also picked up 2000 AD. Couldn't get it from my comic shop, so I had to get it from one of my local shops that sold it, my local supermarket. For some mysterious reason, they've been stocking this book in the last couple of weeks. I really enjoyed last week's issue, so I'm looking forward to a bit more 2000 AD. I am thinking about getting a bit more into 2000 AD and maybe picking up some of the trades, because kind of like you have the Essential Marvel books, they do the same thing for 2000 AD with the different characters. So yeah, I'm definitely considering picking up some of those books and reading some of the older stuff. I know whenever Mark Williams talks about it, MAW0001, that guy is just like so knowledgeable, and every time he talks about stories from 2000 AD, they always sound right up my alley. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to finding out more about that book. Another book I've heard a lot of good talk about has been Alex and Ada. I finally decided to jump on board the train. Pride Pick, that was the final review that tipped me over the edge and made me think, yeah, I want to try this book. After much searching, I found it for $3.99 on eBay, so that was brilliant. I thought I'd have to pay, you know, a lot of silly money to get it, but that was really good. I also managed to pick up issue number 2. Read both of these this morning, loved them, glad I'm on board there. I got these last week, but I waited until issue 1 and 2 came before I read them. So I've got issue 3 there to read, and I've also got what came out last week, which is issue number 4. So I'm looking forward to reading them. I loved the first 2 issues. It was a different kind of comic, but I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really well written, really well drawn, and just as a complete package was really good. Another book I picked up earlier in the week is this Judge Dredd magazine. It's kind of like, it's part, you have your comic book in here, you have like about 4 stories, which get plenty of space because it's quite a thick book, and then you have articles, like they have an article here on RoboCop. So you've got articles, but then there's also like, as you can see, you've also got other comics in here as well, other stories, kind of. So I mean, you've got 4 different strips. I haven't read them all yet. I've only read the first one, and of course you have articles as well. So yeah, that was really good. It's a bit pricey. It's £5.60, which, if that was what we got, it's quite a thick book, but I would be a bit about paying that much. But the thing that made it worth it is you get this with it, and what this does is it reprints old stories from 2000 AD. So this one is the Strodium Dogs, Tales from the Doghouse, and as you can see, it's like they've reprinted the stories. The stories were in black and white to begin with, so like they reprint them, and you get a whole book there where they collect a whole story, because the stories continue each week, so you get a couple of whole stories in there. So yeah, that made this worthwhile for me as somebody who's new to 2000 AD and kind of wants to get these stories and read them. And even if I wasn't new, it's nice to have the stories collected together like this. So I think that's a really good idea, and that kind of made the whole package worth the money I paid for it. So I think I will be picking up that again next month when that comes out. That's a monthly, so yeah, definitely be getting more of Judge Dredd magazine. So that's me done. Yeah, I like to keep these videos to 10 minutes, and I've nearly done that. I will be back on Friday with my comics for the week, where I picked the 5 comics I enjoyed most this week. That won't be the only video I'll do. I'm not going to do a dude's comic book roundup because I've only got one other book to review. I did consider maybe doing an Alex and Ada review in comic book roundup, but I don't know if there's any interest in me doing that. If there is, please in the comments below let me know. Even if one person says there's an interest, I will do it, in seeing what I thought of that series and maybe critiquing it a bit more. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, next week I will be able to do a Marvel Ultimate graphic novel review. That's something hopefully I can get up. I've read the next 4 books, so I've got them ready to review. It's just getting the time to film them and edit them and everything. But hopefully next week, I've got no training, so I'm on one of my days off next week. Hopefully I can do that. So that's pretty much everything. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've had a great new comic book day and you've enjoyed all the books you've got. As always, thank you very much for watching my video. I always deeply appreciate everybody who takes the time to watch my video, give it a thumbs up or leave a comment. I always appreciate that. All that leaves me to say now is that I've been Jason. This has been Dude's Comic Haul. Bye for now.